What's up everybody, it's Drew Wilkins with Swine Bovine Barbecue, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made these direct heat, hot and spicy pork spare ribs. Let's get going. We have ourselves a beautiful rack of spare ribs for our hot and spicy ribs. Gonna trim these up like we always do. I'm cutting them to a St. Louis rack. I actually prefer St. Louis over a full spare. If you like full spare, just don't cut off the top of the ribs like I'm about to do here in a second, but eat them how you like them. I like St. Louis. So we're taking off this flat meat. This little bone right here showing through on the end, so we're gonna just cut that off. We know that's gonna burn up, so let's just go ahead and remove that while we've got it. See this bone right here, big bone, piece of cartilage. Just cut through this, completely remove that. If you wanna make St. Louis, makes it pretty easy for you. We're just gonna follow this line right here. Get rid of these rib tips. Leave them on if you like traditional Texas style spares. As mentioned, I prefer St. Louis. I cut off this meat over here. That's not gonna be a good bite. And actually, this bone right here is kind of showing through. So we're just gonna flip this over, get rid of that bone. Get rid of what's left of the lighter colored meat. These are nicely trimmed. Gonna trim this meat off the bone and cartilage, save it for sausage, but let's go ahead and get this seasoned up. I don't typically go with slathers on ribs. I season directly out of the cryovac after trimming, and there's more than enough moisture on these ribs right now to hold seasoning. However, we're making some hot and spicy ribs, so I'm gonna go on with some Yellowbird habanero condiment. I think it tastes fantastic. Will we taste it through the meat at the end? Probably not, like most slathers, but we're gonna do it anyways because we're making hot and spicy ribs. And I leave the membrane on when I cook ribs. Offset, direct heat, doesn't matter, I leave it on. We're gonna start off with a generous amount of Diamond Crystal kosher salt, then some 12 mesh black pepper. I like a coarser grind when I'm doing direct heat ribs, so this is a little more coarse than the 16 mesh that we typically use. Then we're gonna come over the top with a little bit of granulated garlic and onion. It's just a 50-50 mix. Flip them over and repeat. Our ribs are nicely seasoned. Let's go fire up the pit. Chud box is cruising along at 300 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and put our ribs on. We're gonna let these go bone side down for an hour, then we'll flip them. 1 hour in, let's see how the underside of our ribs are looking. Oh yeah, getting some great color on these. Gonna flip them meat side down now. Gonna let them go for an hour as well. Once we've hit about 45 minutes of that hour, we're gonna hit this backside with a little mop sauce, but we gotta go make that mop sauce, so let's do it now. For our mop sauce, we're gonna start off with 1 stick of butter, half an onion, some crushed garlic cloves, some white vinegar, just a little bit of crushed red pepper, some coarse black pepper, some hot honey, and a lot of Louisiana hot sauce. Stir this up and our mop sauce is done. It is almost time to flip our ribs, so let's hit these with the mop sauce. This mop sauce is essentially my wing sauce with the addition of onion, crushed red pepper, and black pepper. What I'm going for, I love that flavor, so we're gonna see how it goes on some direct heat ribs. First time giving it a shot, direct heat ribs plus wing sauce, I don't see how that'll taste bad. Gonna shut this down, we'll come back, flip these in about 10-15 minutes. A little over an hour after being meat side down, let's flip these over and see how they're looking. That looks phenomenal. Incredible crust, we're getting floppy. We're close to being done. All we gotta do is mop these now. Just like the bottom side, gonna hit this top one with a mop. Gonna come back and do this every roughly 10 minutes until our ribs are tender. 3 hours and several mops later and our ribs are done. They're looking absolutely delicious. Nice, tender, floppy but not fully breaking apart, which is exactly where we want them. Hit them with a little bit of mop sauce. Just add a little bit more before we wrap them up. I'm gonna lightly wrap them, take them inside so we avoid all these flies. And once they come down to 140, it'll be time to slice into them and eat them. But if they taste anything like they smell, we're in for a treat. These bad boys are looking absolutely delicious. Color is fantastic. We've got some crushed red pepper. Gonna be nice and spicy. So let's cut them up and dig in. I don't cut bone side up ribs, I go bone side down. So let's flip these over and start cutting. Our work is done. We're ready to dig into these things. They are smelling absolutely fantastic. I can't wait any longer. Cheers. Clean bite through. I had to go through half a rib before I could even describe these, but they might be some of the best ribs I've ever cooked. Or they are some of the best ribs I've ever cooked. I thought that we might get a little bit of a buffalo wing flavor because, as mentioned, I used the wing sauce that I used, but it's not overly buffalo tasting. It's got a pretty good kick to it. Not burn you up spicy though, but the flavor is unbelievable. I said I like St. Louis cuts better, but here I am sitting gnawing on some knuckle meat and I don't know, that might change. That is unbelievably good. The sauce caramelizing on to the meat as it cooked. It's got a nice hot, little bit of buffalo, butter, vinegar, spice. I mean, there wasn't much to it beyond that. It was a pretty simple mop sauce. We really just made a wing sauce. We put more vinegar in there than we typically would. We also added black pepper because we're in Texas. And then we added crushed red pepper because I love the appearance that crushed red pepper gives on top of the ribs. And I just typically love crushed red pepper in general. It's got that grill direct heat flavor from the fat dripping down directly over the coals, plus the heat from the hot sauce. This is my new favorite mop sauce. There's no probably to it. All the other mop sauces are delicious, and if you have someone that does not have a high heat tolerance, they think black pepper is spicy, don't serve them these. If you got a pretty decent heat tolerance like I do, then you'll be fine. Heck, maybe even throw some jalapenos in the mop sauce as opposed to crushed red pepper. Get the seeds from the jalapeno, you cook it down in the butter a little bit. That'd be a great way to do this as well. Just an unbelievable flavor. It's like the best of direct heat, plus the best of a spicy buffalo style sauce all in one rib. But it doesn't taste like a wing. That's the weirdest thing. Like, it's a wing sauce basically, but it does not taste like a wing. It just has an incredible flavor that's really hard to describe other than it's really good, which is incredibly descriptive and super, super helpful. So apologies for that. If you're on the fence about direct heat barbecue, firmly plant your feet on top of it and jump over to the direct heat side. Start cooking direct heat barbecue. It is the way. Can't recommend this enough. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. It helps out a ton. If you have anything you want to see me cook next, please leave it in the comments below. Or if you have any suggestions on how I could potentially make these ribs better, leave it as well. Maybe I'll try it out in a future video. And if you cook anything that I make in my videos, feel free to tag me or follow me on Instagram. My handle is @SwineandBovineBBQ. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.